You didn't get into your dream school, neither did I. Life is going to be okay. The world is not going to fall apart at 18. Just relax. So, my name is Fred. I am currently a sophomore in college now. I go to Cornell University, and I went through this process 2 years ago, and during it, I was a nervous wreck, anxious 24/7. Anytime I got an email, I would freak out. Like, you don't know if you're gonna get in or not. Like, the college admission process, I hate to say it, but most of it is luck. Like, you could have the most perfect application out there, write a award-winning essay, and still get rejected from like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. But like, that's not all there is to life. I go to Cornell University, one of the Ivy Leagues, the fake Ivy. But I went through this process too. Cornell was not my dream school. My dream school was UCLA and USC. They're like 1 and 2, back and forth, you know? I wanted to live in SoCal, but I wanted to chase that like SoCal dream, because I'm from Northern California, and usually what ends up happening here is the kids here move down to SoCal. I ended up in Ithaca, New York, because that's where life took me. I'm not complaining about Cornell. I know that Cornell is like an amazing school, but at the time, I was more focused on how I got rejected from UCLA, and I thought life would be over. But it isn't. I'm here now, living my best life, or as best as it could be in New York, in the freezing cold. You may be asking yourself why I'm making this video if I already go to such a prestigious school. Well, I know that a lot of people out there who are applying for college feel like they're not going to get in anywhere, or that it's just rejection after rejection. Trust me, I went through that too, and it actually feels that way. But in reality, life is going to take you on a path, and you might as well just follow it, because I never thought I would go here. I turned in my application to Cornell University the day it was due. I wrote that in 12 hours. I thought it was the worst application of my life, and I got in. Crazy. It's crazy how life works. Yeah. College, the name of the college you go to is not everything. Like, come on. We've had it shoved down our throats since we were kids that going to a prestigious college like the Ivy League system would be life-changing. Your life would go nowhere if you didn't end up at one of these 8 prestigious universities, or like Stanford, or Berkeley, UCLA, all really good schools. If you did not end up there, life would be over. That is what we were being shoved down our throats as kids. Like, let's think about it. Everything we've ever watched, like where they end up going to college, where do they go? They go to Harvard, or Yale, or Princeton, or Stanford. Like, let me just throw out a few examples here. Rory Gilmore, she ended up at Harvard, I think, right? But she also got into Yale. So, crazy. Gabriella from High School Musical, she goes to Stanford. And Davy from Never Have I Ever, she ended up at Princeton. Laura Jean from To All the Boys I've Loved Before, she ended up at NYU. And these shows make it look like it's so easy to get in. So when it's actually time to apply, you learn the hard reality that it isn't. These shows gave us the false expectation that if they can do it, I'm just like them, why can't I? But they don't show you that Harvard has like a less than 4% acceptance rate, and so does Stanford. And all of these schools that you're like, all of your dream schools that you're attaining to go to have maybe less than 10 or 20% acceptance rates, and that is wild. That means like almost everyone who applied gets a rejection. So I am going to give you some tips to help process this. You're not going to your dream school, and I know that can be hard fact to swallow, but just know that rejection is regular. Just know that rejection is normal for everyone. When everyone gets rejected at some point in their life. But I know you put a lot of hard work and time into this application process, and you may think that none of it paid off. Well, for a lot of people, it didn't. And we gotta accept that. I applied to around 20 schools, and I think I got rejected from around half of them. So my stats aren't looking that great either. I didn't get accepted everywhere. I remember I got denied from all of my dream schools, which were like UCLA, USC, NYU, and what's the fourth one? Columbia. Harvard, Stanford, Yale. By the time I was applying for college, I knew they were like out of the sphere of reality. Like, I could be a little delusional, you know, but when reality set in, I knew I was not getting in there. I know it's like a hard pill to swallow, but rejection is normal. Womp womp. We all get rejected. I don't mean to sound like harsh here, but this is from someone who got rejected by multiple schools. Like, yeah, I know in the beginning it'll be hard to like accept it. Like, they just didn't want me, you know. Let's do some math real quick. If Harvard has a 4% acceptance rate, and let's say they have like 60,000 applicants, 60,000 times 0.04, that would mean only 2,400 people actually get in. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they have a larger applicant rate or a smaller one, but like, you get the gist of it. That means about like 57,000 people got rejected. And that's fine. Rejection is fine. My other thing I wanted to talk about is don't compare yourself to other people. You may be like scrolling through social media, or like your friends may open their letters and they may have gotten in and you didn't. But don't compare yourselves. Everyone has a unique story. Everyone has something different to offer. Sadly, we all can't be Olympians or D1 athletes or child prodigies at an instrument, or a like mathematician genius winning math competitions since you were like 10. For normal people like us, yes, I had normal stats. I think the only exceptional part of my application was my GPA, which was like a 3.98 unweighted. But I had the most mundane activities in the world. I played volleyball, was not very good at it. What else did I do after that? That kind of was my only thing. I was part of like some random clubs, but I really didn't ever do anything in those clubs. I volunteered. That was about all my extracurriculars right there. And it worked, I guess. But we all can't be exceptional at everything. So, when you see all these other, like, people on the internet posting their acceptances to schools that you wanted to go to but got rejected from, don't take it personally. You don't know the essay they wrote. You don't know how their application went. But you did have control over yours. And just know that what was I gonna say? Just know that you are enough. The weight of an acceptance to a college does not evaluate you as a person. Because honestly, the way they do college admissions, they rate the holistic person But sometimes some people can't translate who they are as a person fully on paper. So when the admission officer is reading it, it just gets lost in translation. So don't take it personally. Don't think that like a certain college like hates you. Oh, and my last tip, because I've been rambling on for a while. This is only a 3-tip video. That's so sad, but I can't say anything else because I've been like rambling, yapping. I've been yapping this entire time. My last thing I wanted to say is don't wallow over it. Like, let it... I know you're gonna be sad for a while, but don't like let it fester for like 3 weeks to the point where you're like in a state of depression, because we can't really change anything at this point. You didn't get in, I didn't get in. There's nothing we can really do to change that anymore. Unless you like contact the office of admissions at their college. Unless you contact the office of admissions at their college and like beg. But like low-key, that's embarrassing and I would never do that. But you do you. There's nothing we could do. So my best advice here is to just accept that life has taken you on a different course than you thought it would have. And just like look into that school you got into. Look into your new prospect. Find a way where you can make that your new home. I know it might not be ideal. Like with me in Cornell. Cornell was not ever on my radar. But I ended up there and life turned out fine. I made a bunch of new friends. The course curriculum is actually really interesting. And what else can I talk about here? I don't really know. Life was fine. Life was fun.